Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to a different sort of videos. So if you guys have been following like the community tab posts and that type of thing, I've basically been working on a player facial search tool basically involving all my spreadsheets. So basically, instead of having to go between every spreadsheet for every season, instead you guys could basically find what players facials you need as soon as possible. So if we head on over to my browser, you can see here, this is what I've been currently working with. It's not 100% completed as of this recording, but by the time you guys see this video, likely it will be. So basically I'll zoom it into 125%, but as you can see here, we have this search bar here, and you basically need to just type in any player's last name that you want, or you type in the full name and you'll find that information, and it'll basically populate this information, these cells, with the the information you need. So like the head, the eye color, the eyebrows, the hairstyle, the hair color, and the beard styles. It does not have anything to do with overall potential, that type of thing. But if you want those informations, obviously you could go to my website, because that's usually where all the information is. Eventually, maybe I'll start making some other spreadsheets like this as well that involve this type of search tool, but for right now, this is what I wanted to do. Also, it does have the teams that the player played for, so you can see that Cam Atkinson, for example, he played for Columbus from 2011-12 basically to 2021-22, or 2021, I guess. Yeah, 2021, I think that's when it ends. But anyways, you can see basically the teams that each player played for as well on top of this, which kind of makes it a little bit more better for you in a sense if you don't know what team the player played for at that point in time. But you could also find that information on easily like Hockey Reference and that type of thing. But basically what this thing does, as if you go over here, this sheet's going to be hidden, so you guys will not be able to see this when I basically post this. But you can see we have an abundance of names in everybody's player facials that I've ever done, that I've actually recorded and stuff like that. So you have tons and tons of names in this part of the spreadsheet. I'm probably going to hide this sheet, but more than likely if you wanted to, you could easily Control F through it. But likely I'm going to have this sheet hidden, so that way nobody will be able to use it. But it has basically 2,747 names in it, so you'll be able to find facials for almost 2,800 players, which is absolutely ridiculous. But if there's a player that you search basically and they're not there, you could always ask me to add it, and eventually maybe I'll get to that. But this is basically the back end of all the work. So basically the search tool here is going to search through this entire list and find and pull up that data, which is pretty cool. So like if you click on, I think it was, oh yeah, it's like right here, I think. Wait, maybe right here. Yeah, see, there's like this random code function that basically it searches the entire thing. I don't really understand how this works, but I found basically on how to do that via YouTube, and this works out really well. So I'll do a couple test runs so you can get see what it does in action. So for example, if we wanted to look up, I don't know, Timo Solani or actually maybe not Timo Solani, because I haven't done the S's yet of this recording, so let's not do Timo Solani. Let's say if I wanted the facial information for Joe Nieuwendyk, I could easily just type in here. Make sure you're spelling everything correctly, because or else you won't find the player. You just type in Nieuwendyk, and boom. Joe Nieuwendyk, you find out his head information and all that. You also see all the teams he played for, as I was mentioning. So Calgary from 86 to 95, Dallas from 95 to 02, New Jersey 02 to 03, Toronto 03 04, and Florida from 05 06 to 06 07 basically. So it's pretty easy as that, and you just need to literally type in that, or you could type in last names. So for example, if you don't know how to spell Dustin for Dustin Brown, but you want to find out what his his face number is, you just need to type like Brown, for example, and it's going to come up with everybody with the last name Brown that's in the database. So you got like Brad Brown, Curtis Brown, Dave Brown, Doug Brown, and you can see Dustin Brown is right there. And once again, you can see all the teams that these teams played for. What's kind of neat is also there's like some conditional formatting on these things. So basically it will change the color of the team also once that team is mentioned. So for example, if LA Kings are mentioned from like well, actually not the LA Kings, that's not a good option. I mean, like for example with like Buffalo, say if you chose a player like Gilbert Perreault, we'll actually show you guys this in a bit more real time. So say if you say Gilbert Perreault because you want to look up him, Gilbert Perreault has a blue buffalo thing because obviously during the 1970s and 80s, the Buffalo Sabres used their blue color. But if you look up somebody like Daniel Briere, who primarily played actually with the Buffalo Sabres during their black era, it's going to come up in a black format instead because of the conditional formatting I put on the spreadsheet, which is pretty neat. So the colors and stuff like this are all actually kind of more accurate to the time period depending on what player it is and when they played for that team. So you can literally search for any player almost and you'll likely find that player because I have literally names from, like, let's go to the top of this list here. Let me zoom back out so you guys can see a little bit better. If we go to the top of this list here, you can literally see you have names from Antti Alto all the way down to names like, I believe, Andre Zuzin. So literally you could find players from the 1979-80 build, the 1992-93 build, which was never put out in public, but eventually I think I might do that for NHL 24. You'll see runs from the 93-94 build, the 96-97 build, the 2001-02 build, the 2002-03 build, the 2003-04 build, the 2005-06 builds, the 2006-07 build, the 2008-09 build, and the 2010-11 build. So this is just a master list. Also, if you're trying to search for a player and there's two of them, for example, like Alexander Picard, there's two Alexander Picards. Basically, how I make it a little bit more differentiated is you can see this Picard was born in July 85. This one was born in October 85. So if you're actually using Hockey Reference, which I would recommend, if you see that the defenseman was born in 85 or in July of 85, you know that's the defenseman. You can also kind of tell with the teams because the forward only played for Columbus while the defenseman played for a bunch of teams. So there's a little bit of a differentiation part of this. So you'll actually be able to see if a player was born in a specific thing because there's multiple players with the same name. For example, Steve Smith, as you can see, actually, but not Steve Smith. No, actually, there was technically Steve Smith, but we don't have two Steve Smiths in this. It says the player is born in April 30th, 1963, because technically the other Steve Smith that played in the NHL was also born in April 1963, ironically enough. So there is a little things that differentiate the players. Like Derek Smith, for example, this is the one that used to play for the Buffalo Sabres and not on defense. You can kind of see I have placeholders right now for all these players. I'm going to have to fill that out once I get through the S's, but you can literally search anybody you want. Because, like, we could go even Jaguar. And just like that, you get his information instead of having to go through each individual spreadsheet. So it's pretty nice and handy, I think. And eventually maybe I'll do something like this with player equipment. But player equipment changes more frequently than the players' faces and stuff do. So this is probably as in-depth as this kind of spreadsheet would go. But like I said, if you have any players that are not for some reason on this sheet that you would like to see, you could always let me know down below in the comments and I will get to probably adding them eventually because I will be doing other throwback franchise modes, obviously, and roster builds in NHL 24. Because likely I will do, I think 1992 is my, 92-93 is my first build, likely. But there's other builds I have on the agenda. Like I still want to do 99-2000. I was going to do that for the remainder of NHL 23, but the thing is we're kind of running out of time. So I don't know if I'll get to another throwback franchise mode roster in this season. So I might have to wait till NHL 24 to do that. But literally any player you want to make, you can easily find that information using this thing. And I think it'll help out quite a bit, especially if you use it in companion mode with my throwback roster website. Remember, that is throwbackrosters.net. So you can basically find all the attributes. You can find team jerseys, arenas. I still have to add basically a few roster builds to that website, but it is pretty much up to date as much as possible. So anyways, that's going to do it for this little video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, go check out this spreadsheet. It will be linked in the description or in the pinned comment likely, or maybe even both, just so you guys can find it easily enough. But let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.